Hello and thank you for staying with us on Channels Television. This is Newsroom Series. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Today, we focus on the North Central region. We're starting off with a devastating accident on Zaria Road near Jos Stadium, which has claimed the lives of 8 University of Jos students, leaving 2 others seriously injured. According to the Federal Road Safety Corps, the Plateau State Sector Command, the incident occurred around 2:30 a.m. today opposite Unity Bank, involving a trailer and a bus carrying 11 students. Emergency responders discovered 7 students had died on the spot, while another succumbed to injuries at the hospital, bringing the total fatalities to 8. The remaining 3 students are receiving treatment. An eyewitness revealed that the bus was traveling at a high speed and attempted a risky overtaking maneuver, losing control and then colliding with the trailer. Authorities there have called for caution on the roads, especially at night. Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Kogi State, in collaboration with other security agencies, have intercepted 4 suspects for allegedly trafficking 21 children aged 6 to 11 years. The minors were transported in a truck from Kano State to Isonlu community in Yagba East local government area of Kogi for alleged Quranic education, according to the suspects. The 4 suspects and minors were moved from Isonlu to Civil Defense Headquarters in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, for profiling, after which they were handed over to a representative of the State Ministry of Women Affairs. The Public Relations Office of the Kogi State Command of the Civil Defense Corps, Mr. Abdullahi Aliu, gave an insight into the arrests.
Subsequent to an report gotten by the command, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, upon some minors who are loaded in a truck, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Isonlu Area Command, intercepted them. The children or the minors are within the age bracket of 6 and 11. By the grace of God, investigation is ongoing, and after investigation, we are going to hand them over to NAPTI. But due to the absence of NAPTIs in Kogi State Command, Kogi State environment, we're handing them over to the Ministry of Women Affairs, who are going to take custody of those children. They are already ready, waiting for us to hand them over for proper profiling. Thank you and God bless you.
In a bid to foster a more informed understanding of the forthcoming Tax Act 2025, the Kogi State Internal Revenue Service has emphasized the importance of public awareness in facilitating smooth compliance with the new regulations set to take effect next year, January the 1st, 2026. At the recent Stakeholders Forum held in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, the Executive Chairman of the Kogi State Internal Service, Mr. Suli Enehe, explained that the 2025 Tax Act simplifies more than a dozen federal and local tax laws.
What we have is what we can enjoy.
This forum on the Nigeria Tax Act 2025 with the theme Understanding Nigeria Tax Act 2025 is organized by the Kogi State Internal Revenue Service to create awareness on the need to support its smooth implementation in January 2026.
So you won't even know.
Various government agencies, professional and civil organizations, captains of industry converge on the Kogi Government House in Lokoja to brainstorm ahead of the 2026 deadline.
Before now, state is to collect 25 items. Sorry, state is to collect 21 items. Local government, 25. And that's why every day the complaint is that double taxation, double taxation, double taxation. Because you see this man come and knock your shop, another person come to knock your shop, because they are collecting various items. Those 26 items have been harmonized into a single digit of 9.
The Tax Act 2025 introduces significant reforms aimed at broadening the country's tax base, improving compliance, strengthening legal frameworks, and boosting revenue generation for sustainable development.
Let me commend the leadership of Kogi State Internal Revenue Service for demonstrating innovation, professionalism,
and proactive engagement in preparing Kogi State ahead of the full implementation of the acts. This effort reinforced the vision of His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed Usman Odo to build a resilient, accountable, and technologically driven revenue system capable of supporting infrastructural growth, social welfare, and economic transformation.
Tax experts outline key structural changes introduced to modernize the nation's tax system, as well as the provisions of the Act and the importance of early preparation by taxpayers and institutions.
This act has come now, and what it has come is that it makes taxes fairer, it makes it simpler, and it makes it effective. In fact, one of the principal problems we had in the drafting of the tax is that we were told that we should make it simpler. Because when you look at the Federal Inland Revenue Act and Personal Income Act, those ones we have before, you see, some of the languages can only be understood by experts.
The tax is about everybody. And this is why the filing of return comes in. Whether you are liable to pay tax or not, you must file your return. Because it's your return that will show what was your income and whether you are liable to tax.
Stakeholders leave with a better understanding of the 2025 Tax Act schedule and valuable insight necessary to navigate and prepare for the upcoming fiscal year.
The Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, says billions of naira have been recovered since the introduction of the Whistleblower Police in 2016, but then regrets a decline in reporting allegations of corruption by whistleblowers for lack of adequate protection and reporting channels. Mr. Edun, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Special Duties, Mr. Raymond Omachi, disclosed this at a one-day stakeholders engagement meeting in Makodi, Benue State, highlighting the need to guarantee trust in the whistleblowing policy along with adequate protection from security agencies.
Representative of ICPC.
Officials from the Federal Ministry of Finance, revenue-generating agencies, security agents and stakeholders in the fight against corruption converged in Makodi, the Benue State capital, for critical anti-corruption engagement. The Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, who is represented by the Permanent Secretary of Special Duties, begins by laying the foundation of the whistleblower policy initiated in 2016, which has led to the recovery of billions of naira.
When the federal government of Nigeria introduced the whistleblowing policy in the year 2016, the goal was clear: to strengthen transparency, deepen accountability, and return stolen funds to the rightful owners, who are the Nigerian people.
This momentum has since declined due to a number of factors, including awareness, reporting channels, trust deficit, and the renewed campaign on safety protocols for informants.
These are not just operational issues, they are institutional and societal concern that demand urgent, deliberate, and strategic intervention. This sensitization program is therefore timely and strategic. You agree with us? And it is focused on our revenue generating agencies, ministries, departments, and even the states, like we have come to Benue today.
In his lecture, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kaide Egbetoku, who is also represented, touches on the importance of whistleblowers in the fight against corruption and growth of democracy.
It is an essential pillar of anti-corruption and governance reforms in any democracy. Whistleblowers are essentially in promoting transparency and accountability in our society. They provide valuable information that can help prevent crimes, corruption, and other forms of mafias. However, whistleblowers often face significant risks, including retaliation, harassment, and even physical harm.
Host Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by the State Commissioner for Finance, wants public office holders to steer clear of public funds while also cautioning against malicious exposure of innocent persons.
Imagine if you knew that others were watching you and this matter could be reported, whatever you are into could be reported anonymously, and that you could be held to account for your actions. It will reduce the level of graft in our system. It is okay to protect the whistleblower. The whistleblower should also note that it is an offense to maliciously send out a report that is wrong.
This engagement is one in the series of public awareness campaigns by the federal government to drive home the whistleblower policy, which helped recover massive looted funds in its early days of its introduction, as the federal government is now enlisting the services of revenue-generating agencies on the policy.
In Plateau, the state government says public-private partnerships will play a central role in transforming key sectors, including tourism, agriculture, trade, and infrastructure. This was the position of the Chief of Staff, who declared the PPP Capacity Building Boot Camp for 50 MDA officers as essential to the state's long-term development strategy. Our correspondent, Percy Dabang, reports.
Officials drawn from various ministries, departments and agencies in Plateau State are undergoing a 5-day public-private partnership capacity building boot camp under the State Action on Business Enabling Reforms. Speaking on behalf of Governor Caleb Mutfang, his Chief of Staff, Jeremiah Satmak, says the training is coming at a critical moment as Plateau positions itself to use PPP to strengthen major economic pillars.
For MDS to strive within this evolving landscape, we must become PPP ready by strengthening institutional discipline, deepening technical capabilities, and adopt a partnership mindset. MDS must shift from traditional government-led delivery to a collaborative model where private sector actors are seen as strategic partners in building the plateau of aspirations.
Sabre State lead Samari Modibo said PPPs have long been constrained by a lack of technical capacity despite the existence of a state PPP law.
Governor is interested, more than interested, because when we came in, we discovered, when he came in, we discovered that is the way to go. That is why you find projects like the Jos Hill Station Hotel and the Jos Plateau Hotel that have been concession on PPP basis. But we need to capacitate our staff, our civil servants, to be able to handle those kind of projects very well. There are several other projects the state government will want to enter into PPP relationship with the private sector, but we cannot do that completely because we don't have the capacity.
Participants say the program will help them deliver development-oriented partnerships.
Our expectations is more of practical aspects of PPP because I'm sure we've heard so much of the theory part. So we're expecting that we'll broaden our understanding on the practical aspect of PPP, and eventually at the end of the day, we will all do better so to ensure that development is achieved in the state.
All of us who are gathered here from various ministries and MDs should be able to give back to the society through the government apparatus. Whatever objectives, there are objectives that are said to be implemented here, and then at the end of it all, it's expected that all of us should be able to go back and then deliver to the government what we are expected to have been taught here.
The PPP boot camp is expected to help MDAs design, negotiate and manage partnership-driven projects that will boost the state's economy and improve service delivery. Percy Dabang, Channels Television News.
Coming up on the Newsroom series, a youth movement in Plateau State demands the regulation on the use of social media by Plateau State lawmakers. Details after this. Join us again. Welcome back. There's a growing call for legislative action in Plateau State as the United Youth Movement for Better Nigeria urges the governor and the State House of Assembly to introduce laws that will regulate online conduct and curb the rising political tension fueled by social media. At a peaceful protest and press briefing held at the Secretariat Bridge in Jos, the United Movement for Better Nigeria expressed deep concern over what it describes as the dangerous misuse of social media in the state. The national coordinator, Musa Joseph, said the online space has become increasingly toxic, dominated by unverified claims, inflammatory posts, and politically motivated attacks capable of undermining peace.
If you love Plateau State, you allow good leaders to come together, harness themselves, and consolidate on the fact that all we want is purposeful leadership on the Plateau State. But we are not a partisan group. We are non-partisan. We just want the advancement of Plateau State. And we are writing to the House of Assembly through the governor, let there be a law that will be enacted to checkmate the activities of social media on the plateau, or to create awareness so that our people will understand that Section 39, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended has given you the right to express yourself. But Section 45, subsection 1 listed some fundamentals restricting your right. It should be devoid of hate speech or inciting violence.
From Plateau, let's head to Kwara, where political stakeholders across the state's North Senatorial District have now agreed to work together for the actualization of a governorship slot to their era come 2027. With the theme One People, One Voice, the people noted that since the era has not tasted power since 1999, the aspirants have agreed to come together and support whoever emerges as candidate during the primaries.
Out of the 3 senatorial districts in Kwara State, only Kwara North seems to be less developed, with a multitude of bad roads and other infrastructural deficits. In addition to this, since 1999, it's only the region that's yet to produce a governor. Determined to change this narrative, stakeholders from Kwara North convene a meeting to brainstorm on the way forward ahead of the next election year.
Today, it is we aspirants, all aspirants for gubernatorial and National Assembly came together to decide to have this forum on our own. This is indeed historic, and this is not only the historic thing that is happening at this period in our political history.
Kwara State belongs to all of us, so we don't want to use the word marginalization because it's politics. We have to sit down, we have to talk, we have to lobby, we have to beg. We have to do whatever is possible for us to win their hearts so that they can support us, because we cannot do it alone. Kwara North cannot do it alone. And that's why if you look at our traditional rulers have been going around pleading to their counterparts in Kwara South, their counterpart in Central, for the need for Kwara, for the governorship to move to Kwara North.
Political office holders and governorship aspirants from the zone are not left out in the fight to be heard, calling on all political players to consider ceding the governorship slot to the zone come 2027.
A lot of people are working seriously from North, Central, and the Southern Senatorial District for power shift. Not that other senatorial districts are not interested, but some people from Central and South have taken that risk to see that they are supporting the Northern Senatorial District.
It's not going to be easy for any senatorial district to have this organization within the shortest possible time and gather everyone here. But we did it. But this is just the beginning. The real thing for us is to ask ourselves, you want to be a senator, you want to be a House of Rep member, you want to be a governor. Why? Because you want to represent your senatorial district.
Part of the communique at the end of the meeting is an appreciation for the state government's efforts in ensuring fairness in appointments, as they urge other zones to support their requests.
Now, in the same vein, a political group known as the Kwara Integrity Movement has kicked against zoning of the 2027 governorship race in the state to a senatorial district. The chairman of the group, Ibrahim Oniwara, at a news conference in Ilorin said it is high time for Kwara to rise above the limitations of primordial politics but uphold competency and merit. He said Kwara must reject the outdated philosophy that leadership should be determined by birthplace rather than competence. Leadership must emerge from merit, vision, capacity, and character.
It is time for Kwara to rise above the limitations of primordial politics. It is time to reject the outdated philosophy that leadership should be determined by birthplace rather than competency. It is time to embrace a future where leadership emerges from merit, vision, capacity, and character. The agitation for zoning raises fundamental questions that Kwaras must ask boldly. For whom is the zoning agitation being championed? Is it genuinely for the people of Kwara North, or for the personal ambition of a few?
As the Yuletide approaches, the people of Keana local government area have come together to celebrate oneness and unity. During the gathering, 600 people selected across 10 wards from different religious backgrounds received palliative support. Our correspondent Halima Gayam tells us more.
The people of Keana local government area of Nasarawa State come together to celebrate unity as the Yuletide approaches. The need to maintain a peaceful coexistence is re-echoed by a representative of the Nasarawa State government.
The reason I wanted to see you guys is about the unity, the peace, the relationship, the togetherness. Please, don't let us be carried away with what is happening in our society today. We all need to come together and remain together so that we can have a safe Nasarawa State and we can have a better Nigeria.
As part of the event, palliatives are shared to 600 people selected from the 10 wards of Keana without religious considerations.
We have over 600 people who we invited today to come and celebrate. They are not celebrating just the seasonal greeting of Christmas, but celebrating unity, peace, and togetherness. That is all, that's the notion of this gathering, for us to be together and make sure that we do not allow anybody to penetrate us.
While the people take home lessons to uphold unity, they are happy to return with food and non-food items.
I receive wrapper, I receive rice, and also I receive money. In fact, this Christmas is gonna be wow to me.
We have rice, she gave us wrapper and some amount of money that we used to take off. Thank you so much.
As the festive season draws near, Keana stakeholders hope that acts of togetherness such as this will continue to strengthen peaceful coexistence across the local government and the state at large. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
And more, talking about peace, Kogi State Governor Usman Ododo has called for unity of purpose that will indeed pave the way for the robust economy and infrastructure development of the state. Governor Ododo stated this while addressing some stakeholders who paid him a courtesy visit over suppressed constituencies in Kogi State. He commended the stakeholders for their concern they have for Kogi and urged every citizen to place the interest of the state over and above any other personal interest.
In recent weeks, some Kogi residents have come together in a unified call for justice regarding the delineation of state constituencies within the Kogi State House of Assembly. Concerned citizens and legal practitioners are optimistic that necessary reforms will be enacted before the upcoming 2027 House of Assembly elections. These individuals are particularly worried about the perceived injustices and imbalances that have plagued the representation of constituencies since inception of the state in 1991, as they submit a formal petition to the Independent National Electoral Commission headquarters in Lokoja.
We observed that
After the state's creation in Kogi State, some particular constituencies were suppressed. And by this, there is no equal representation at the Kogi State House of Assembly.
From the INEC office, the group heads to the government house, where they meet with Governor Usman Ododo to brief him on the development and also submit a copy of the letter to him.
Your Excellency, Okene is very large. We have 1 and 2. And by that provision of the Constitution, it is explicit that based on the population requirement of that federal constituency. So Okene 1 and 2 is not enough. That means we can go ahead to have Okene 1, Okene 2, and Okene 3.
Your Excellency, sir, because at the State Assembly, that is where the development, the progress of every village, town, and community are discussed. Your Excellency, if those people are denied of representation, then who will bring their pain and agony to the forefront?
The governor appeals to the group to wait for INEC's decision instead of going to court.
I have all the points. I was told from here that some of this was in place since 1992. Check the records. The Constitution is there. You have done your own part by engaging the government and, of course, the INEC. Then, of course, I trust the INEC chairman as a professor of law and as your senior colleague, he said, with any experience, he will do justice to this.
The petition, according to the group, highlights the historical context of constituency delineation in Kogi State, noting that the original constituencies established during the creation of the state in 1991 has been altered in ways that impact negatively on the democratic process.
And that's Newsroom series as we focus on the north central part of the country. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun.